Peace and power. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is once again Nelson with V1 Tarot and Astrology coming to you with another card of the day. Now, really quickly, before I get into it, I just want to go ahead and do my little disclaimer. I do use the Prisma Visions Tarot deck, which does not look the same as far as the imagery as the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot deck. The interpretations, meanings, and card structure, however, with major and minor arcana are still going to be the same. So no worries there. It's just going to look different. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and get into this card just a little bit. We got the Ace of Swords on our table today. Yes, sir. All right. So before we talk too much about the card itself, let's go ahead and just cover a little bit about the sword suit. We are going to be dealing with air energy as far as the element, and then as far as how that translates to us in our lives, that's going to be dealing with our mental energy, also our communication, things that have to do with the mind. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into the Ace of Swords. All right, so let's talk about this imagery for just a second. First of all, shout out to James R. Eads, who illustrated these cards so beautifully and so well. Great work on this, in my opinion. I love it so much. Like this deck truly just never ceases to amaze with the imagery. So that being said, yes, we have a double-edged sword stabbed into the ground. I think it's important to note that it is a double-edged sword as we're dealing with the mind, because the mind itself can be a double-edged sword. The mind is also a weapon, the way a lot of people look at it. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is also force. So the handle of the sword, or the grip of the sword, is the head of a stork, which is symbolic for communication and bringing new things. We also have the wings of the stork as the hilt or the guard, whichever, I'm not sure, with a nice, beautiful little jewel in the center, it seems to be. And yeah, I'm just truly loving this imagery that we have with this card. So now let's go ahead and get into these upright meanings, okay? So when we're dealing with the Ace of Swords in the upright position, since, like I said, we're dealing with the mind, and with aces, we are usually going to be looking at the beginning of something new. We are looking at something being given a green light, something, having, I guess, sort of a divine blessing to give new life to something. So with the Ace of Swords, we are talking about new ideas. We are talking about innovation. We are talking about epiphanies, those aha moments, those random little things that you have that just click and they just spark so many different things. That's the type of energy that we're dealing with when we have the Ace of Swords in the upright position. It is a new venture for the mind. It is a new idea, something for the mind to grow on. So that is with the upright position. Now, whenever we are dealing with the reversed position of the Ace of Swords, we got a retrograde, everyone. But no, we are dealing with miscommunication. We are dealing with confusion. We are dealing with getting your wires crossed, all those messages, if we're dealing with the wind, we're dealing with the mind, we're dealing with ideas and communication, how they get carried out and transferred to different people and places. And we are talking about all those things happening poorly. We're talking about stuff getting messed up and convoluted and confused, and nobody knows what's going on. Nobody's communicating properly. And we're also talking about destruction, hostility. We're talking about conflict, because to keep in mind, major conflicts or conflicts in general start with a difference of the mind that is simply too strong for whatever involved parties to be able to seem like they can solve it. So that's the type of energy we're dealing with the Ace of Swords in reversed. We're talking about potentially violence and destruction. We're talking about hostility, brutality, all of those negative aspects of a strong mind, or all of those negative aspects of a new way of thinking being brought to a person. So that is going to be the Ace of Swords for you today. I had a great time talking with you about this. If you liked or learned anything from this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Stop by my website if you would like to book a reading. I also have the New Year's bundle. Keep that in mind if you would like to get one of those while they are available. After that, I believe all that is to be said, excuse me. Still waking up a little bit. That is to be said on the Ace of Swords has been said. So with that being said, this has been Nelson with V1 Tarot and Astrology. I hope that you all continue to have a beautiful and blessed day. Peace and power.